There you are. Can you hear me yet?
Give me a second.
There you are. I can hear you now.
There we go.
Oh, fantastic.
Hey.
So great to meet you.
Oh my gosh, so good to meet you. I don't know if I've ever talked to anybody in Alaska.
Well, I am here. It is true.
That's cool.
And I definitely did mix up Bloomington, Illinois versus Indiana. I didn't know there
Yeah.
was two.
I think there's a Bloomington, Minnesota too. There's Bloomingtons, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
great. So so tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm in Central Illinois. I'm about 2 hours out of Chicago, so not far. Born and raised Illinois. I'm 55, married 32 years. We have one son, Adam. He lives in Nashville. He's been there for 4 years. He's 24. So we're empty nesters. And yeah, that's about it. I'm a life coach. I coach women with type 2 diabetes. So.
Well, we have a lot of customers that face diabetes.
Yes, I imagine you do.
I'm very interested in how you found us and what you think about the shoes and how they're working for you, and just sort of your journey been, because what we're finding is that when we talk to our customers, we really are learning a lot of details that are helping us in developing the processes of the business, but also designing shoes, because people we're discovering that the shoes are meeting needs that we actually hadn't understood before these conversations. So
yeah. Well, I don't actually remember how I found Pandere Shoes. Likely it was a pop-up on Facebook or something, because I search a lot of shoes, right? A lot of extra depth or orthotic, things like that, just from searching, how Facebook does that. So probably that's how it came up. And at the time, I had just gotten this AFO brace that I'm wearing now. And so I was kind of looking for something, I wasn't sure what was going to work with it.
Why are you wearing the brace? Maybe start there.
Okay. 5 years ago, I was diagnosed with Charcot foot. So I wore a Crow Walker boot for 5 years. And
what is a Crow Walker boot? Is that a brand?
No, it stands for now you're going to test me. It stands for Charcot Restraint Orthotic Walker. So it's a boot, and it's a custom boot specifically for Charcot.
And it's a really challenging problem. We have a lot of customers that reach out to us with that problem.
Yes. Yeah, it is challenging. And so when you wear the boot, you don't have option for shoes. You only wear one on your other foot, right? So.
Well, and it also causes a problem, because if that boot doesn't meet the same height of the other shoe, then you have to start a different problem going. Because I had to do that for a while. I had to wear a post-op boot or shoe for a long time. Right. Of course, if you're bandaging or post-recovery or something, you're going to wear the post-op shoe. And I could never find any shoes that had the same height.
Right. There is a thing called an evenup that you can put on your shoe. You can just get it on Amazon. And it just straps onto your regular shoe, and it comes in, has like Velcro in it, and so you can take out levels of it and make it match.
Does it stick on the bottom of your shoe, or does it go inside?
Yeah, it's just straps. It kind of straps on your shoe, kind of fits in it. So it serves its purpose. The only trouble with it is it's not super stable, and you can kind of slide off of it. So it's not ideal.
So you've had Charcot foot for a while then, a little while.
Yeah. December of 2015, I was diagnosed. Yeah. so I had wore the boot, and then I had a lift put on my other shoe. My orthotic guy, I just wore tennis shoes and had a lift put on to match the boot. So, you know, there's no fashion involved at
Give
all.
it up.
You give it up. You just have to go for functional.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah. So at the time, I weighed 400 pounds at that time when I was diagnosed, and out of control type 2 diabetes. And 2 years ago, I, through a friend, got introduced to a life coach, and I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't even know what it was. And in the process now, 2 years later, I've lost 150 pounds and reversed the diabetes. And when I became healthy enough, my doctor said, okay, let's talk about reconstruction. So that was something I really wasn't keen on because I knew.
So I'm assuming you're talking about foot reconstruction.
Yes. Yeah. Foot reconstruction. So I knew about it. I knew what the recovery process was like, and it's pretty much a nightmare. It's about a year-long recovery process. I wasn't convinced it was something I wanted to do, but I did agree to the consult. So one of the leading surgeons in the country for Charcot reconstruction is in Chicago at Loyola. So I asked my doctor if she would go with me. So she and I drove to Chicago, had the consult, and he was like, yeah, we could do this. And he only gave me about a 60% chance of success. He said my foot was one of the worst he'd ever seen, which was like, okay, like he's done like 800 of these surgeries and probably seen twice as many, you know? So the other option was to just continue wearing the boot until it wasn't working anymore, and which then would result in amputation. Or he said I could just go to elective amputation and just do that. Some decision, right?
Bad choices.
Yeah. So in processing all that with my doctor, I decided that if all roads were potentially going to lead to amputation, I may as well give it a shot, you know, and find out what would happen. You know, I didn't really feel good about it without knowing. So last October, we drove to Loyola and I had the reconstruction, and that involved a few days in the hospital, but I came out with an external fixator on my leg and foot, which, do you know what that is, what that looks like?
I don't. I was getting ready to ask you.
Yeah, it's, well, some people call it a cage. It's metal, goes all the way around, and I had 18 pin sites going into my foot and my leg, and it stabilizes your leg. I could bear a little bit of weight on it, like 40%. I had a little shoe thing that I'd put on in the morning, and so I had to use a walker, and could bear a little bit of weight just to balance and stuff, which did make life easier. But that I wore for 12 weeks. And then you go back up and they take that off. And then you go into a cast I was in the cast for, I don't know, 5 or 6 weeks, and then the brace. So now I've been in the brace for a while. I forget, I lose track.
So each kind of steps you down, graduates to where you're having more mobility and less inflexibility, I guess.
Yes. Yeah. So with the brace, the goal is to not have to wear it long term. Hopefully by maybe December or so, I'll be able to move out of the brace and just have an orthotic in my shoe. So that'll be easier. That'll give me more options shoe wise, you know. But with the brace, it's big, you know, so you have to have space. Yeah.
Braces are really, really challenging to get shoes on, to fit on.
Yes.
We get a lot of requests. It doesn't always work. You know, sometimes
Right.
it depends on the brace, and it depends on the individual, but that heel is so hard to get over sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's why that Rambler that I have, I thought when I saw that, I thought, that is unique, number one. And I thought, okay, that gives way more adjustability. So, and I also like the toggle is so much easier than laces or Velcro or whatever. Yeah. So I thought, why not give it a shot? Order them, see what happens.
So that shoe has a lot of expansion. How does it work on your good foot?
My good foot, also, I wear an orthotic in there just for stability. I don't have Charcot in that foot, but I do have an orthotic. So that takes up some room as well.
So have you pulled out the insole and then put your orthotic in, or okay?
Yeah, that's another thing with the boot, I keep saying boot, with the brace, I still have to manage the difference, right? Because the brace is a different height than the shoe. So it's always playing with how many layers to put in there. So my orthotic is one layer. I actually think I have the Pandere insole in it and then the orthotic both. And then it just depends on how it feels. Sometimes I need to stick another little super thin layer in there just to give it a little bit more. Yeah, just depends.
So you don't have any swelling on your good foot, correct?
Not on my good foot. I wear compression hose on my right. I just wear it on the left anyway, but I really don't have swelling on the left.
So when you tighten up the good foot, when you tighten up the shoe, can you tighten it enough to make them stable?
Yes. Yep.
Hey, that's what we want.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course the one with the brace, is wider, but when I don't have to tighten it as much, right? But I still tighten it to make it stable, so it doesn't slide off or whatever. But what I love is when I take them off, when I take that shoe off of the brace, it goes back to normal. Like it's not like permanently deformed. Like my tennis shoes, when I take the brace out, they're just like that, Yeah. So I like that too.
Well, you have really been through the ringer. You've had a lot going on. And it sounds like, what's interesting to me is it sounds like you've taken a little bit like me, in the sense that you've taken your personal challenges and then channeled them into your work.
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
So when you're working with diabetics, tell me what that work is a little more.
Well, I'm a certified life and weight coach. I have 2 certifications there through the life coach school. I do not have a diabetes certification. It is just my own experience, right? And how I've educated myself. I am going to go on and get one, but I don't at this point. So what I do is I coach women with type 2 or pre-diabetes. So it's housed within it's called Unschooling Diabetes is the name of it, because I homeschooled for K through 12 and kind of the whole unschooling concept, if you're familiar with that. But Unschooling Diabetes, and it's housed in a private Facebook group. So what I do is help them to implement the things that their doctor wants them to do. But like all of us, right? We know what we should do and we don't do it. So it's like, okay, your doctor said X, Y, and Z. So let's figure out how to do that in a way that you love, in a way that works for you and your body and your lifestyle. So it's kind of different for everyone. So I don't necessarily coach the diabetes. A little bit I can advise, but I'm very clear that it's mindset. It's mindset coaching and how to build your life in a way that you will do these things and implement them in a way you love, So the goal is hopefully reversal, of the diabetes. But honestly,
such a good example of that.
just to get them moving in the right direction, you know, and not dreading their doctor's appointments because they're not doing the things and, you know, all of that. So I love it. It's only been going since April 1st. I launched it, and I've got an amazing group of women in there. So it's really fun. I love it. And then we meet once a week. We group on Zoom. We meet as a group once a week. And then once a month, I meet with each of them individually. So, yeah, that's fun.
Well, let me ask you what kind of shoes you would like to see us develop.
That's an interesting question.
If you could paint, if you had an open canvas and you could have whatever shoes you wanted, what would they be?
I don't know. I like all your shoes. All of them don't work for me right now, but I love the fun colors of some of them. I'm hoping that once I get into just an orthotic, I'll be able to wear, you know, some of the different ones. But I don't know. That's a hard question. I always like color. So
we're gonna make a Rambler in a cool color soon. I don't know if it'll come out this fall. Hope it will, but if it doesn't come out this fall, it'll probably be next fall.
Yeah.
We've got one in development.
Okay. Well, I'll look for that. And I don't know. I mean, I talked to I'm in a couple of Charcot Facebook groups, like support groups, and it's, you know, pretty much the same story, you know, not being able to find things, you know, that are stylish at all. And now that I'm, you know, you'll see in the pictures I send you, you know, I'm in a dress. Like, I haven't worn a dress in years, you know, because who wants to wear that with a big old boot, you know, 2 different shoes and, you know, whatever. So, yeah. So it's definitely given me more options, which I love. And you know,
When I will say, when the 3 of us started Pandere, we really didn't know anything about shoes. We were completely outside of the industry. We didn't know anything. I just knew there was a big need because of my own personal experience.
Okay.
And I knew there was a lot of people with swelling, not just from what I had, lymphedema, but from many other things. Mm-hmm. And, you know, part of our mission from day one was just to make something that looked good, because almost everybody who has swelling or braces or something that makes that impacts their fit, everybody's wearing sneakers. Everybody's wearing white sneakers or black sneakers.
Right.
And sometimes it's very uninteresting. It's great when you're going for a walk.
Right.
But if you've got to go to the graduation or any of the other events that we have in our lives, you know, before COVID.
Right. Yeah. And I think, I mean, the standard, you know, diabetic shoes or whatever are just ugly. They're just, they're horrible. So, I mean, I think there are companies out there that are trying, you know, to make them. And I think Zappos now is offering to buy, you can get 2 different sizes.
Oh, interesting.
So that's amazing. And some of their brands, like, that is my thing now. My feet, if you just measure them like on a foot, you know, thing, my right foot that was reconstructed is 2 full sizes smaller than my left. So that, you know, I don't know where that's going to go with a regular shoe, but, you know, when you spend $140 and got to do it twice, that's, you know.
Just ask you a couple of questions about that, because Charcot foot, that does often make one foot smaller, right? I mean, that's a disease, right?
Well, what happens in the disease itself is your bones break. So it's kind of like an osteoporosis. They get soft, and neuropathy is the common denominator. So you don't feel your feet. So you keep walking on them. By the time you get diagnosed, if you even do, because it's so unknown, even in the medical field, you get misdiagnosed for so long. The deformity, you know, your bones eventually reharden, but then they reharden deformed. So that changes the entire shape of your foot. And then over time, it breaks down, you know, it can break down even more. So my foot was, you know, turned in, like, you know, from the outside. So he had to straighten it out. And then you're left too with a, like a rocker bottom. Your foot is literally like, you don't have any arch. It's the opposite. So it completely changes. So now my foot is flat on the bottom, but I still have some bony places that are weird, you know. So that's why Charcot needs custom, because everyone's foot just deforms differently, you know.
So when you have the Rambler on your feet, I mean, we don't sell split sizes, so you must be buying in length for the longer foot, right?
Yeah, like
I would imagine that the brace takes up a fair amount of space, and maybe
yeah, between the brace and orthotic, you know, that takes up space. And they do have technology. I don't know what they can. The orthotic guys can put something in, you know, in the shorter foot, put something in the shoe to accommodate that. So, you know, it just depends. But I haven't personally bought 2 different sizes of shoe. Mine works with just my size now is I don't even know what it is, women's. I've bought men's shoes for so long. I think when he measured me, it's a 12. I think the women's size with the orthotic. But my other shoe is like, you know, my other foot is smaller. So yeah, we'll see what the future brings. But
well, I'm excited to hear that you're able to manage that length difference with our shoes.
Yeah,
that's what a lot of people request. We don't do it for a lot of reasons, but partly we don't do it because we've designed our shoes to accommodate different lengths a little better than other companies. So it sounds like at least in your case, it's working okay.
Yeah, I think with being able to adjust both from the front and the back helps that, you know, helps give that stability, and it can be different in both feet, you know. So yeah.
Well, Jill, it's such a pleasure to talk to you, and I hope that we have a different shoe that we can offer you soon. It sounds like
I'll be watching.
Dressing so well, and you know, maybe you'll get down to the next level soon.
I actually a little bit of a glutton for punishment. I'm having knee replacement surgery in October.
Oh gosh, that's a lot, but you'll feel so much better after it's done.
Not the same leg, the other knee, so that's good. But after this, I think that'll probably be easy recovery.
Rest.
Yeah. So, do you want me to send you some pictures with the shoes?
I absolutely would love that. I'd love to see some pictures of you, and I'd love to see some close-ups with your feet in the shoes.
Yeah.
That would be wonderful.
Okay, I can do that.
Yeah. Well, thank you for chatting, and I'm so excited about the work that you're doing, and I hope you continue to reach more people through your life coaching and through your diabetes education. I know how important that is.
Yeah.
It is the kind of thing that can be turned around.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. So, yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate you reaching out and your time too. So great to meet you.
Wonderful. I hope you have a great day, and we will talk again. I feel sure.
All right. Thanks, Laura.
Bye, Jill.
Bye-bye.